If you dreamt that you illegally travel to the UK, to the US, or to Canada, please wake up from that dream. Wake up quick and pray against it. I don't understand why that is how it is back home, where you need to study and study and study and go bored like I am for you to be able to even earn peanuts, even peanuts. Because let's face it, what a bank branch manager earns in a month, somebody who works in care without a degree, without certificate, somebody who works in care, who takes an extra shift, will earn it in 2 weeks. Hello there, how are you getting on? I've received loads of messages about creating content on relocating abroad, how the life abroad is like. I'm not an immigration consultant. I don't do it, but just as a response to what my viewers and followers are saying. And so my team have put together the most pressing and common questions. I will try to pick them one at a time, read them, and try to answer. But to start with, relocating abroad, is it a good decision? Is it something I encourage anyone to do? And the answer is yes. Because the thing is this, many people, including myself, left the country to give a second choice to our children. By second choice, we mean when they are of age, they are 18, they're 19, and then they are now independent. They can decide where they want to stay. But if you do not give them that opportunity, they will need to struggle like we have struggled to get to where we are at. Aside that, even for you as a parent or you as an adult who want to make such a decision, is it profitable? Is it worth your investment? The answer again is an affirmative yes. If you pick an executive in a country in Africa, Nigeria for example, individual who is the branch manager of a bank, or somebody who works in an oil company as an engineer. Now, there are two of them who are at the same level. A stays back and B decides to travel out. US, UK, or Canada. I will just use these three as an example. B relocates. Now, except he gets a job, a similar job abroad in which he relocated with, naturally what happens is it appears that his position goes down. Even his earnings, his financial status goes down. And that's what many people are not aware of. When you relocate abroad, except it's a job that took you abroad, you will kind of struggle. In fact, some will say you kind of suffer. Some will even say you kind of regret it at first, because that shock, financial shock, culture shock, lots of shocks you're going to experience. So it's going to be difficult at first. Basic things you could afford, you're going to struggle with them. And not going to be for 1 day, 1 week, not even for 1 month, for some, not even 6 months. So you're going to struggle regardless where you go to, except again, you have some buffers aside from maybe you got a job, maybe you have a family abroad and then you're going to live with them for the first 1 year. So you're not paying rent, you're not paying any bills. That might be a bit easier for you. But if you're just going there and you're starting afresh, renting a house, looking for a job, and maybe the other partner is studying and all that, it's going to be really tough. It's going to be difficult. You might even regret it at first. And then maybe you who have been used to driving a car, your partner had a car and maybe even had a family car. So we're living in a big house, in a fine house, in a gated estate. You had a security, you had a maid, you had a cleaner in the office who comes, tidies up your office, and then you had a PA, maybe even an executive assistant. You're quite comfortable. If that's the life you were living in Nigeria, for example, and you're relocating to study abroad, it's not going to be like that. You're going to struggle. You're going to hop on buses. You're going to trek long distances. You're going to wait at the bus and train station for minutes before the bus arrives. In the cold, you're going to miss your bus. Some might even cry. What kind of a life is this? What kind of a decision is this? Oh God, Talo Shemi. Who sent me? What am I running after? What exactly is my problem? And you might even start hiding face. But your other people back home will feel, he's traveled abroad, and they think he's traveled abroad. Money just falls in the morning like this when you come out of your house. It's like when the snow falls, you just see money like snow and begin to pick them. No, not exactly. So the first few months, and for some, it's even as bad as first few years. You will struggle, it's going to be tough and difficult. But remember, the A, he's doing well. Maybe he's even got another promotion. And then he's gone for some courses and some studies, and then he's gotten another promotion. He's earning more, he's earning big and all that. While this other fellow is still struggling, trying to scratch the surface of his life to know what happens next. And this guy is comfortable, this guy is fine. You know what you need? Time, hard work. Let me say this jokingly, and I mean it. I was sharing with some of my staff some days ago. I was first to relocate or travel abroad and relocate actually in 2009. And I said if I had successfully traveled abroad then, I don't think I'll have furthered my studies. I don't think I'll have started a company. Well, I maybe started a company, yes, but I don't think I would do all of this mind doctor, doctorate, even MSc. I won't do any of those. I'm not sure I would do any of those things. So, by now I'll be very rich. I'll have plenty of money. That one guaranteed. Because you know why? In the UK, in the US, and in Canada, you don't need a degree to make money. And I'll say that again. You don't need a degree to make money, to be comfortable. You don't need a degree to get a job, earn good money, drive the latest car, live in your own house. You don't need a degree. What you just need is hard work. If you're hardworking enough, you can earn more. Even in the country where you are in, you can earn more than a lecturer. There's a way it works, but it is hard work. And I was pleasantly surprised when I came in here and I saw that there were menial jobs that you did not need a degree for, you do not even need a certificate for. Once you can read and write, you can express yourself, you can speak, and then you apply for the various, of course, you open a bank account and all the rest, apply for the job and then you get the job, and you're hardworking, and you can work for long hours, take on extra shifts. Boy, you will make plenty money. And then once you're eligible for credit, you will get the latest car. 2025 Mercedes-Benz, you'll be able to buy it. You get a very big house without a degree. But back home, to be able to afford that, number one, you have to buy it in cash. But that's not even the problem, because some of these people can't even afford it. If they work hard enough, long enough, they can't even afford it. But to be able to earn so much to buy such a car, you must have had several degrees, done courses, certification, ISOs. My word. I don't understand why that is how it is back home, where you need to study and study and study and go bored like I am for you to be able to even earn peanuts, even peanuts. Because let's face it, what a bank branch manager earns in a month, somebody who works in care without a degree, without certificate, somebody who works in care, who takes on extra shifts, will earn it in 2 weeks, without a degree. So I just wanted to say this, just to be clear, that first of all, you do not need a degree to make good money, to live a very good life, a comfortable life, to be able to travel and go for some vacations in countries of your choice. In some of these countries, that's one of the very amazing and shocking things that I found out. Now, I'll begin to go through the questions. So the first question here is, what are the most legal pathways, or what are the most common legal pathways to migrate abroad? Again, like I said at the beginning, I'm not an immigration consultant. I'm just sharing my ideas. But when I get so much questions and requests to talk about it, I think I have that responsibility and that duty to do that. So that's why I'm doing this now. What are the most common legal pathways for Nigerians or for Africans to migrate abroad? Now, no country specification here, just abroad. But I'll be talking based on the UK, Canada, and the US. Of course, number one, which appears to be the fastest, is through school. It is through school. Even though these countries are gradually changing their laws and their rules, the UK, for instance, due to net migration, they've stopped one of the most common ways through school, which people come in through their masters. But then there are still other programs that come in through master's research. And through that, you can even come with your family. And there's even a company I know in the UK that also gives funding. If you're coming in for your master's research, pay up your entire tuition. And when you're done, you can pay them back little by little for a long period of time. So it's through study, through school. And of course, in Canada, there are very cheap schools as well, as cheap as 2,500 Canadian dollars. And I know a company that also helps people with this. They actually link you up with that company, process the admission and can also process every other thing. That's through school. Number 2 is through job. So you can get a job, either a job, based on sponsorship, whatever kind of job it is, but that is legal. That is legal. Please, whatever it is I'm saying has to be the legal means. So people travel abroad. Largely, these are the means people relocate abroad, and then of course a country like Canada, people do permanent residence and such routes. And there's a company I know too that does all of this. They have had very high success rates. Now, the next question: how prevalent is irregular or undocumented migration among Nigerians as well? So I don't have this information, but you never want to, even in your dream, if you dreamt that you illegally travel to the UK, to the US, or to Canada, please wake up from that dream. Wake up quick and pray against it. You never want to illegally travel to any of these countries because they'll fish you out. And when they fish you out, that ruins your travel record, because particularly these 3 countries, they share immigration data. So once you have a bad record with one and you're trying to apply to the other can see from the data of the other country, and that can put you in serious trouble. So I don't have that information about how prevalent, so you don't want to ever do that. What challenges do Nigerian migrants face when settling in new countries? Well, I think I said a lot of that at the beginning, at the introduction to this video. One of the challenge that people face is the culture shock, the work ethics. The job search can be very difficult, frustrating, particularly if you're looking for a white-collar job, you're looking for an office job, a proper job like you had in Nigeria. It's going to take some time. I have a friend who applied into a government job 60 times. He got 60, unfortunately. And there was this senior friend, when he was coaching me for the interview at first, he told me that you are even lucky. The first job you're applying for, they are taking you to the very final stage. That's very rare, because people put in for jobs and they put their mindset to apply minimum 100 times before they get fortunately. Because usually when you apply for those jobs, you just get an email, unfortunately. So once you just open your email, just say, unfortunately, don't even read the rest, just leave it. Just have a benchmark of, I'm going to apply 100 times. I didn't have that patience. I did just once. Number 2 is the school system. The school system, the social world, the environment. Well, I'm using the UK as an example, and I'm sure that these other countries use similar system. Now, your children, if they are under, I think, 13, if they're not teenagers, you can't leave them alone at home. If you do, and you're living in an apartment where you have a neighbor who notices the kids are always home alone, making noise, playing and all that, reports to what they call social work. And those one realizes that's what happens. You're always going to work, picking up shift, picking up extra shifts and all that. They'll take your children from you and take them somewhere where they will be well looked after than even you could afford at that time. And nobody wants to be in that situation where your kids have been kept there for 3 days, and after trial and error, you finally get there, you want to pick your kids, and your kids are saying, no, please, I don't want to follow him, I want to stay here. I like this place, because they will spoil them. Pizza, chocolate, things maybe at the time they can't afford, or you're even being careful, you don't give them to, because you know this child likes sweet a lot, so you want to give just a little sweet. This was just ice cream, chocolate, sweet, and all that. And the child likes it and wants to stay there. So, and then they begin to now start interrogating further. Why doesn't this child want to follow you home? I think there's a problem. Are you abusing your child? Are you spanking them? Are you beating them? Are you yelling at them? Are you shouting at them? How do you handle that kind of a thing? So that's one of the challenge that Nigerians face in a country like this, social work. And of course, your kids have to be in school on time. Of course, schooling is free for them, but then they have to be in school at 9. For those who resume at 9, they have to be there by or before that time. This when your kids are coming to school at 9:15, 9:20. Once it's about 9, I think 9:05 or so, and your kids are not in school, they'll send you an email that your children were absent. And if this continues too often, they involve the social work, and that's big trouble for you. You don't be involved. And then your kids close at school, and then you're roaming around. Yeah, nobody has come to pick them, or you've not told them to come home. And then, the school finds out, they call social work. Another thing is this, I don't know whether I should say it, but I'll say it all the same. I noticed that white people are very nosy. I don't know why that is. And sometimes some of them will even tell you that I'm very nosy. I'm very nosy. So by that, they poke nose a lot. They ask questions. What are you doing here? Why are you here? What were you doing in your country? Why did you leave your country? What begin to ask you questions that even you have even thought about. So that's some of the challenges that Nigerians are facing here. Then, of course, food is quite easy and cheap here. Food is quite cheap here. That's their local meals. But African meals are slightly expensive. But as you settle in, you get more comfortable, you should be able to afford Nigerian meals. And of course, recreation centers are just all over the place. All right, let me just say this here to bring this video to a close. There are loads and loads of questions here that I can't even answer all, but I'll just stop here and I'll say this. If you're relocating abroad, have it in mind, like I said at the beginning, there'll be this shock, there'll be this struggle, this difficulty. But then once you're able to go past that phase, say within the first 9 months, 1 year, say 2 years, max, you should be way more comfortable to be able to afford some luxuries, to be able to spoil yourself, to even go on vacation, go back home, visit people and all that. So what are the things that I will advise you or tell you? One, be hardworking, ready to work hard. You know, for those of us who have been executives for a long time, working in the office, you know, sitting down and all that, moving to a country like this where for some people, when they came in, they were not lucky enough to get a similar kind of job where they had to work in factories, they had to work, do some menial jobs, earning good money though, but then, you know, such, you know, jobs had its toll on their health because they've been kind of sitting down in the kind of job they were doing for a long time, for some of them 5 years, 10 years, 15 years, now coming to a place where you have to lift things up, you have to walk a long distance, you have to push, carry and all the rest. It had its effect on them. But aside that, I'll say coming abroad or traveling abroad, if you're hardworking, then you won't suffer. You won't suffer long. You will be able to settle in better, make good money and be very, very comfortable. And then number 2 is find support system. There are Nigerians around, just look for Nigerians and just find support systems. And then number 3 is, which is actually supposed to be the number 1, don't go against the immigration rule. Don't ever. And like I said jokingly, which I mean seriously, even in your dream, if you dreamt you were going against the law, please wake up from that dream and cast that dream out. Don't ever do it. Don't ever do it. There's nothing that takes your peace of mind away more than when you realize that your papers are not right in a country. No, you don't want to be in that position. Your mind will not be at rest. Even when eating, you won't have appetite. Your kids are going to school. They could pick them up and trace you. Don't even try it. You don't even want to try it. In fact, this is rather extreme, but it is better. Better, before your papers are expired, you go back home, go back to Nigeria and try to apply to come back than you stay in, your papers expire and then begin to hide. Don't want to do that. I'm Dr. Timothy Moy, and I hope you do find my gists and conversation helpful. If you have some more questions, you could throw them in, even though I've got more questions here I've not been able to answer. Be well.